So it was raining this morning, and a tree frog was on my screen, and it kind of tried to jump in my window because it wasn't raining. And then all of a sudden it started to downpour, and I had my window open. I have the screen, and the bugs see the light and the Christmas lights on in my room. So all the bugs come to my screen window. So usually geckos crawl on my screen, and the gecko lizards, the geckos like on the Geico commercials, they eat the bugs. And lately I've been having this tree frog. He's a green tree frog. He's pretty big. He's got these big legs. And he's been on my screen. And today, when it started to downpour, he like jumped on the screen, and I think he was trying to jump in my room because he really wanted to get away from like the heavy rain. You know, what I've been noticing lately is I've been having a lot of up and down roller coaster emotions, from suicidally depressed to, being homicidal, being manic. And a lot of that has to do with the coronavirus, for sure. We've all had so many things taken away from us, which has caused us to be more isolated. And whenever we're more isolated, we tend to gravitate, well, not all of us, but some of us, including myself, we tend to gravitate more towards alcohol and drugs and things like that, as coping mechanisms to just either find something to do with our time or just fucking have something in our life. And I've been finding when I'm drinking, I'm very happy. And the next morning, like if you watched video 89, please don't watch video 89. It was a piece of shit. It was just me riffing about friggin' stupid stuff. Because I wasn't very present, and when I woke up, I filmed the video right away. Usually I wake up at 4:45, and I don't film the video until about 7:15. So I have about 2.5 hours to reach certain levels of thought or just states of being where I can actually create something with meaning. But yesterday for video 89, I just woke up and I filmed it right away because I woke up at 7 o'clock, and it was a really shitty video. But even yesterday morning when I filmed video 89, I was happy. I was kind of, I was okay. And later in the afternoon, I crashed. I was like incredibly depressed. And this morning, I was still depressed. And I was talking to one of my friends last night that also has BPD. The one that I proposed to over text, and she said, haha. She didn't think I was serious about proposing marriage to her. And we talked about like what we wanted from relationships, and how it would be somewhat simple to marry somebody with BPD, or borderline personality disorder, because you can be there for each other and you can understand each other's triggers and what you go through. It would actually be a hell of a lot easier to date somebody with BPD than it would be to date an average person. For me, at least, I don't think that being with an average person would be helpful, because I would never be able to actually talk about what I was going through, because it would probably scare them off. Or they wouldn't understand why I was getting angry, why I was getting depressed, why I was becoming manic. They wouldn't get all those emotional tendencies, or they wouldn't even get the isms of the disorder. So they would most likely end up leaving me. So, and then I talked about, I can't date anybody that's clinically depressed, because I can't handle depression for long periods of time. If I'm with somebody and they're depressed for 2, 3, 4 weeks straight, it's just going to bring me down to such levels that it's going to drain me. I can't be around that. And I can't date anybody that's bipolar. Because if you date somebody that's bipolar, and they get fucking suicidally depressed for 5 weeks, 2 months, 3 months straight, God damn it, man, I could never be with somebody like that. Like, if you have borderline personality disorder, you might be suicidally depressed for a day or two, but then you snap out of it. And then you're like happy-go-lucky for a day or two, maybe even sometimes 3 or 4 days. And then maybe you go back into like a suicidal state for a day. But the thing is if you're dating somebody that also has borderline personality disorder, they know that what you need is to feel loved. Because essentially that's it. Like, we just need to feel like somebody cares about us, like somebody loves us. Because most of the time, people that have borderline personality disorder, we were never loved properly. When we were children, we were extremely neglected in childhood. We were abused in childhood. We have trauma from childhood. We were never accepted. We were constantly rejected, because we were so unlike other people, and we had these emotions that other people couldn't understand. So they either saw us as like having really low self-esteem, and they didn't want to be around people with a low self-esteem, or even though, sorry, Jordan Peterson, there's no such thing as low self-esteem, so self-worth, but you know what I'm talking about. Or they didn't want to be around somebody that, was angry, or that could lash out, or somebody that was manic, that was just fucking balls to balls crazy. And if they liked your mania, if they liked the fact that you were manic, 3 days later you'd be like suicidally depressed and like upset. You'd be like, who the fuck is this person? Like, what the fuck is this person all about? Like, I don't know. There's this one scene from Finding Nemo, and I always remember the scene from Finding Nemo. It was from the first it was from Finding Nemo, not the second one. And it was the first time Marlin met Dory, and Marlin was trying to talk to Dory about finding out where his son Nemo was. And Dory was clearly coming off like mentally ill. And there was something wrong with her. And it took about a minute for Marlin to understand that there was something wrong with Dory. And he actually said this. He said, "There's something wrong with you. I have to go." And I was like, that line that Marlin said to Dory pretty much summed up my entire life. With finding friends, with trying to be around people, with trying to be accepted. It was always a struggle. It still is a struggle. just the struggle to be on point and to find people that won't leave you, that you could trust. Very difficult. Like one of my best friends, Dr. S, he has severe complex PTSD. He was extremely abused and neglected when he was a child. So he's my best friend, pretty much, because like the correlations between complex PTSD, I have complex PTSD too, so we talk about it quite a bit. The correlations between complex PTSD and borderline are, they're so similar, it's ridiculous. A lot of doctors, they don't even know where to prescribe or diagnose somebody. Sometimes they diagnose them incorrectly. A lot of times complex PTSD those people really might be borderline. And people that are borderline might really be complex PTSD. And sometimes doctors, if they don't sit with somebody long enough, they can't properly diagnose them. But even Dr. S, like one of my best friends, he doesn't even know I have borderline personality disorder. Because I will never, ever tell him. Because he would be more fearful of who I was. But if I just say I have complex PTSD, I'm okay. Because that's not my fault. That's somebody else's fault. That's my parents' fault. That's my upbringing fault. That's trauma that I probably did not cause. This morning something happened to me. I was not very happy this morning, and I have a walnut oil can that takes exactly 34 days to use. Because I'm so OCD, I measure out exactly 3 teaspoons a day. And 3 teaspoons is the serving size, and there's 34 servings in each walnut oil can. So I have that walnut oil can for 34 days in my life. And the last 34 days, they've been very fucking rocky. They've been very up and down. I've had good days. I've had like really fucking bad days, like nightmare days. And so I finally finished the walnut oil can today. And when I was finished with it, I just dropped it in the garbage can. I was standing up and I just let it go and it just dropped in the garbage can. And it made like a thumping noise next to like a Greek yogurt bottle, and I looked at the can and I was like, why did you do that to that can? Like that was really fucking mean. And I picked up the can and I apologized to it and I started to cry. And I was just like, I had no right to do that to you. And and I realized that the way I just treated that can, I'm done with it now. I'm just going to discard it. And I'm just going to drop it. The way I discarded and rejected that can was the same way people have been discarding me for my entire life. So I saw myself as the can. And just, and I apologize to the can, and I put it back on my shelf, even though it's empty, until I get another can. And when I get another walnut oil can, I'll take the one that is empty now, and I'll, place it in the garbage can, not just drop it in the garbage can. I tend to have a relationship with objects, like everything. Like I see everything as alive, or like as my friend, or like it's very hard for me to throw anything out. Like things have memories for me. I have a lot of coffee cups in my room, and I usually write down what happened to me in a pen or a marker on the coffee cup about what happened that day, and I just stack them together in my room. So there's just like coffee cups, like stacked on top of each other. I have a lot of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have like 9 coffee cups in my room. Yeah, I don't know. I have to stop drinking, that's for sure. Because even though I'm having fun when I'm drinking, and I enjoy the next morning after I'm done drinking, the next day I'm usually very depressed, and the day after that I'm depressed and I'm not quite right. And I also have an eating disorder, so I gain weight whenever I drink. I try to drink like Guinness. Guinness has got 125 calories in it. Every 12 ounces of Guinness is only 3% of your daily carb intake. So Guinness isn't that big of a weight gainer. It's one of the reasons why I drink it. And I really like the taste of it. But still, if I have 6 Guinness, it's like 800 calories. That's 750 calories. And then my friend, that I proposed to with BPD, she also told me that, because she does more research on borderline personality disorder than I do. She's like a Zen ninja with this shit. And she told me that like drugs and alcohol have like serious impacts of like the emotional stability of somebody that has like borderline personality disorder. And like I didn't really want to hear that, but because I really like drinking. And one of the main reasons why I like it is because it makes me stop being so perfectionistic and regimented. I'm such a serious person. I'm so goddamn regimented. So OCD. Like everything has to be perfect. I have to be perfect. And no matter how many times I like read that shit to myself, like constantly read this. I read this once to twice a day. I don't have to be perfect. I don't want to be perfect. I'm kind and gentle to myself. I'm kind and gentle to others. I'm good enough. I'm worthy of love. I don't have to be perfect. I'm already good enough. No matter how many times I read that, I'm still obsessed with fucking being perfect, man. It's just like, and like, today I was putting food back in the refrigerator, and I was thinking about my belly fat and like how I'm gonna lose that weight again because I just drank 750 calories 2 days ago, and I'm like, well, why do I need to have a perfect stomach? Like, why do I need to? Why can't I just allow myself to let loose and get drunk and drink beer and have belly fat? And then I went outside and I was looking at the sun come up. And I said, because if you have belly fat, nobody will love you. Like, women will choose to love somebody else that has the perfect body, or you're just gonna be this fucking guy with fucking belly fat. And the girl that you want to be with is gonna choose somebody else. Because that's the only thing you got going for you. Because I obviously can't make money. When you have borderline personality disorder, you can't make money, man. Shit just ain't gonna happen. We're so inconsistent with our emotions and our outbursts and our anger and our suicidal depression and our anxiety and being scared of people and our fear of the world and agoraphobia sometimes. Like, we can't keep a job. Constantly getting fired for getting angry at people at our work, or being scared of people, or thinking people are plotting against us, or screaming at people, losing our temper, or we're so suicidally depressed we can't go into work that day, or we take days off, we take too many days off. So eventually we just end up getting fired, or we have to quit because we're so suicidally depressed. We can't be around the people that we work with anymore. Or we start to get very scared of the people that we work with. We think that they're out to get us, or we start to be frightened of them. So we lose job after job after job. We're always getting fired, or we have to quit. We can't keep jobs. So we can't make money. Can't own nice houses, can't have the nice cars. So how am I gonna get a girl? My looks. My non-belly fat. My perfect body. My intellect. My wisdom. My understanding of people, my psychiatry, my spirituality. It's what works. Sad thing about my culture is, though, people are very attracted to me. And they gravitate towards the things that I give them, which is listening, being kind and loving, being a good psychiatrist, being very wise and knowing about the world, being very well traveled, being very well sought in spirituality, having a nice body, having a nice smile. But once these women find out that I have no money, I have no goals, because I can't have goals. I don't drive a car. I don't own my own house. I live in a room. I don't even tell them I'm on SSI and I only get $788 a month. If they knew that, they'd run for the fucking hills. So once they find out that I'm just this kind of Buddhist minimalist by choice, but it's not really by choice. I tell them it's by choice, but it's not. It's because those are the cards I've been dealt. And when you have a mental illness, or when you have complex PTSD, or when you have borderline personality disorder, you don't have a choice. You're pretty much fucked. And you gotta figure out a way to work the world, a way to get the things that you want to get. For me, I make friends by being a good listener and being a good psychiatrist. Do they really care about me? No, they don't really care about me. They just call on me when they need me. And most women, they just see me as a fucking object. Like a fucking, just a body. I remember this one time I moved into this building, and I was a teacher in the Middle East, and there were 76 teachers that lived in this building. It was like just a teacher building where all the teachers lived. And there were about 45 girls, and there were about 40 men. And I moved in, and I was like the most attractive man. It was me and this guy named Eric. But Eric lived in a different building because he worked for a different school. And all the guys knew and all the girls knew after about 2 weeks of me being there that there were only two men to pursue. And it was either Eric or me. And if, there was another guy that was somewhat attractive, he already had a girlfriend or whatever the case would be. And I remember I was already having sex with two women. I was just rotating nights and making out with another one, so I was rotating a night with her. And then a fourth woman came along, this girl named, I'll just call her T. And T started pursuing me, and she wanted to have sex with me. And I remember I was drinking that night. And I said, T, the only reason why you want to do anything with me is because of my body. Because I'm just a fucking body. And she's like, no, I really like you. And I'm like, why don't you go make out with Kurt? Or somebody else that's more loving and nicer than I am. But Kurt, you're not attracted to Kurt. You're attracted to a fucking asshole with a nice body. Okay, I'm gonna end the video. Our lives are so fucking sad, man. It's not even a fucking joke anymore. Alright guys, have a good day. I hope you're doing well. If you want to read a cool ebook, it's in the description below. It might help you, help your family understand you. Alright, okay. I gotta go. Have fun, guys. Take care.